Morning folks, welcome back to the Harry Potter's bedroom of our house. The cupboard under the stairs. We're digging out Christmas decorations. I'm gonna get the big tree out. It's in like this giant hockey bag. It used to be in a big box and it would need 3 trips up. We bought this big hockey bag that it all goes in. It's not a hockey bag, it's a Christmas tree bag. Now it all goes in 1 trip, which seems super efficient, but I mean, ask my lower vertebrae how it feels about that. Anyways, I gotta get all these boxes of decorations out and up the stairs, and then get the big heavy one last and up the stairs. Pray for my spine, please. Okay, well, I escaped to the outdoors. I think I might prefer to be packing stuff upstairs than doing much out here, but it is absolute Snowmageddon out here today. We got another 4 inches overnight, and we're expecting another 4 inches during the day here. It seems to be kind of relentless. I won't complain though. I mean, I will complain. Let's just get that out of the way. I'm gonna complain, but I don't mean it in like a whining, complaining sense. We couldn't have bought a drop of water all summer long. So I am glad that we're getting some form of moisture. I'm just not so happy with just how hard it is to get around the yard all the time here. I'm gonna get that leaf blower out, blow off the front and the back deck, blow a couple trails in the yard so I can get around. I gotta do some reorganization in the shop here. When we did the butchering turkeys, we set up the arts and crafts table for the kids so they had something to do so they didn't get PTSD, and we just never put it away. So I have to get that put away because I need to pull the side-by-side forward so we can put the wife's car in here so that it's road ready, really, essentially, whenever, you need 40 minutes to sweep the snow off in the morning before you get the kids to school or off to daycare. Well, that's not efficient or effective, so you can't have that. I'll probably get the big tractor out a little bit later, plow another trail into the barn. I got to feed a bale here right away, so I guess probably sooner than later I better feed some bales, get some straw bedding down. And then I think I'm going to get the yellow tractor out and put the grader blade on it. It'd be great if I could put the grader blade on this thing, but unfortunately it just doesn't have a 3-point hitch. And that's a really limiting factor for that tractor. For all the great, fantastic things about it, the heat, the brakes, the radio, the windshield wipers, the lights, all the fantastic stuff that works on it, not having a 3-point hitch for snow removal is really, really inconvenient, because it is nice to just be able to drop that blade, tilt it at an angle, and then just whoosh, and we're done in the yard in like 30 minutes as opposed to an hour and a half, and just kind of done an okay, maybe pretty shitty job. Anyways, I better get out of here and get after it. Well, I got my snow blowing done with the leaf blower as best as the guy could. It's tough. Some of the stuff we got the other day was pretty light and fluffy, so it works good, but what we're getting today is a little bit higher in moisture level, a little bit heavier, a little bit wetter, a little bit stickier, so it's not gliding off as much. So I did have to shovel out in front of the shop here and around down the sidewalk. I did blow off in front of the barn, the house, the decks, the vehicles, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, gonna get the tractor out here now. I'm gonna have to plow my way to the bales. I don't think I'll get there on my own steam without cutting the trail. And then I'm gonna put all the sheep in the lambing pen a little bit closer beside the barn. I think, the real purpose of that is to get them into a smaller containment while the weather's just terrible here. If we're gonna get 4 to 6 inches all in these big bursts, I'm just a little bit concerned that they get laying down at night in the snow. You get a big heavy wet snow, they might not be able to get up. I get up in the morning, look out, I'm gone before it's daylight. So then, by the time I get home in the evening, there's not a lot of daylight. It'd be pretty easy for a sheep to get stuck under the snow and then just die there. Whereas if they're in a smaller pen, they'd probably trample that down quite a bit better. They can go in the shelter. There's a shelter out in that field, but I just don't know if they're smart enough to, because there's so much room there, I just don't know if they're smart enough to all go in there, or if 2 or 3 of them would loiter somewhere they shouldn't. over here. You can see up in front of them, about a third, not quite half, way up some of the bales with the snow drift. That's what I'll have to clear out. And then I usually would run them back in behind the barn, but I think I'm going to run them to the south, put a straw bale in there, get them some bedding, throw some of that straw across the fence for the horses, and then run a hay bale into there and just set them up for the weekend here. Now in past years, this is the little pen that I've kept them in all winter long anyways. That little lambing shelter that's down there, that was the first thing actually that we built here. And but as we got more and more, I decided I was going to kick them out in behind the barn, just a bigger area, make more sense. But we dropped a lot of ewes off last year, and we dropped another 30 some off this year. So I think we've only got about 22 sheep in total here now this winter. So they'll be able to live in here comfortably. I don't want to keep them in here all winter, but just when the weather's just absolutely terrible, it just makes some sense to have them bed down in here, and then they can. I can put a big round bale here for feed. Keep a closer eye on them. Every guy needs to run them into the barn too. It's just a little bit easier to do that. Well, I had to drop the ears. It's minus 17. It's just a little bit nippy to have them sticking out there. But anyway, yeah, so I got my straw bale in here. We're going to spread it out. I'm going to chuck the core across for the horse and the donkey. They can kick that around, nibble on it, bed down in it. And I'll get them half a square bale of hay as well to nibble on. Get everybody taken care of for what is pretty much Snowmageddon. Man, oh man, what a miserable day. I gotta admit, I am actually pretty impressed getting around the yard with that thing. I haven't needed tire chains. I haven't even put the diff lock in. So still getting around. Got plenty of calcium in the tires. I think maybe that's helping for sure. But I know that other front wheel assist, the old Deutz that we had here forever from the in-laws, that thing, like, all you needed was a stiff breeze, and you'd have to put the four-wheel drive in, because it would just sit there and spin. And I think it actually had better tires than that, but it might not have had any calcium in the back. I'm not sure. Anyways, I got my round bale in the spot where I'm going to feed. Got the straw bale strung out just a little bit. I just broke it up a little bit. They're going to do most of the work when they get in there. Let's see if we can get them over here. Here, sheep, 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 sheep. Here, sheep, 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 sheep. Oh, no, this panel's froze to the ground. Okay, come on, ladies. Come on through. Come on. There's tea and biscuits this way. Come on, girls. I know it's deep, isn't it? Makes you nervous. There's treats over there. No, there's no treats in the trough. You gotta go get the bale. There you go. Ah, you got her figured. Well, I just decided this right now. I'm done with these cats. If anybody wants to come to the farm and get a free cat, let me know, because I think how it smells in this barn, I would rather have mice. They stink. They're terrible. I got my grain bag in here. They crawled in there and used it as a litter box. So now I got to dump a bunch of grain out. They're on my list, kitties. They're on my list. Learned another valuable lesson today about putting your stuff away. So I want to bring that little yellow tractor out here later. Hopefully once it stops snowing, maybe I can use that blade that's on the back of it. It's not the greatest tractor for that because it's pretty light, but it does have a 3-point hitch, and I can put the grader blade on the back of it, and so I can make some short work of the light work and then bring the big tractor out to do the heavy lifting and probably be a lot more efficient. But when I put it away, I didn't have the grater blade on it. I had the front forks on it for putting stuff up on that big shelf in the barn. And you think I can find, after having so much snow, do you think I can find the top link for the 3-point hitch? Looked in the barn, looked in the tack shed, looked right beside the grater blade, looked over on the molasses trailer, looked in the shop, looked in the feed shed. It was sitting right here the whole time. I walked by it about 6 times. What a waste of time that was. Charlotte?
Ooh, remember this? That day I made this thing?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
hang it in the tree?
Yeah.
Okay. Put it up there.
Wait. I'm gonna put this up and that one.
Okay, you can do that too.
And this one.
Perfect.
I'm just gonna set them right here.
Perfect.
Ooh, here's a good spot. A red nose and 2 black eyes. Whoa! Don't want Santa to break.
I want Santa to break.
Because he's glass. There.
Okay, now the Christmas tree's up. I'm gonna rip to town here, pick up the loop load, see what we're gonna get. Hopefully there's something at both stores here. Maybe we'll get some extra treats. It'd be nice. Last week we had loose meat in a bag for the dogs, which that's a little tough to manage. It's harder to ration out. The meat in the trays, at least, you know, you can just kick the trays outside in the grain shed or something like that. It can all freeze and it just keeps just fine, but a little harder to keep meat in a bag in the fridge fresh. Like that's a tough one. So you got to kind of ration it out and freeze little chunks of it, and it does get a little bit labor intensive. We're back from town. Case of cheese. That's a win. Half cheese, half margarine, and a whole box load today. We've got bread, we've got meat, we've got 'tis the season. We've got eggnog, chicken dinners, bunch of broccoli. I'm gonna need a half an hour to sort this out.